Hey guys, welcome again to Holiday Hill Baptist Church Youth Department. I am Joshua Slocum, joined again by Bella, Sam, Stephen, and Mackenzie as we kick off a new two-part series through the book of Ruth. Not focusing so much on Ruth, but her mother-in-law Naomi, as we look into bitterness and redemption. Two-part series of bitterness and redemption. So, icebreaker question we kick off with today. What is a weird food that you like, that everyone knows you're weird for? Like, you like it, but most people probably think you're weird for liking it. What do you got? Anybody? Who wants to start off first?
I feel called out for this.
Okay, what's yours?
I eat raw lemons.
Raw lemons, okay.
That's good.
Do you put salt on them?
No.
No salt. That's impressive. Yes. Mackenzie, what do you have?
I like these seaweed snacks. They're like dried seaweed, and they have like wasabi on them, and they're really good.
Where do you get that?
Walmart or Publix?
Walmart sells that?
Yeah.
That sounds a little too high end for Walmart.
They're really good. I don't know.
At Walmart, you think it was seaweed. It's not.
Oh.
It's not. Anyway. Bella, Stephen.
I don't know.
Food you like that most people think you're weird for liking?
I'm gonna say one that another person does that I find absolutely disgusting. Is when you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and put chips on it.
That's so good.
That's not weird.
Disgusting.
That is not weird.
Peanut butter and jelly, and then you put hot fries on it.
No,
It's so good.
God, no,
I used
because
to
you're
do that all
supposed to be
throughout.
eating
Yeah,
it. It's not
that's
supposed to be
disgusting.
crunchy.
Okay, I had a friend.
So good.
Okay, I had a friend that did peanut butter jelly. They did the marshmallow fluff with goldfish.
Oh God.
Yeah, with goldfish.
Ew.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's diabetes in between two pieces of bread, but it's
because I'm really
wonderful.
hungry right now, which doesn't make sense.
It's like diabetes between two pieces of bread.
I'm good. Just eat some.
Okay, one of them that my wife does, and I actually love too, is taking cucumbers, peeling them up, putting them in slices, throwing them in a bowl, and then soaking them in like a red wine vinegar, just letting them soak for a little bit, and then eat them, which is basically like an Insta pickle, if you will. It's like homemade Insta pickles. It's really weird, but I like it. That one's a wonderful one for me. I like that one a whole lot. Okay, so here's the thing. We're going through the book of Ruth. Ruth is, when we did Philippians, that was a epistle. That was a letter. That was a guy writing to a church. The book of Ruth is what you call a narrative. It's a story. You got your heroes, you got your conflict, you got resolution into that conflict, and that's what we're looking at today. Is we're looking at a narrative. So if you guys got your Bibles, watching at home, join us in Ruth chapter 1. Read along as I read out loud. We're reading from the New International Version of Ruth chapter 1. And it says this: In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife was Naomi, and the names of their sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went from Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, he died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women. One was named Orpah, the other was named Ruth. After they lived there for about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to aid the people by providing food for them, Naomi and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road to take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, Go back, each of you, to your mother's homes. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to your dead and to me. May the Lord grant each of you, and will find each of you rest in a home with another husband. Then she kissed them and went and wept aloud, and said to her, We will go back with you and to your people. But Naomi said, Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have more sons? Who would become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and gave birth to sons, would you wait for them until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me. At this they wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and to her gods. Go back with her. And Ruth replied, Don't urge me to leave you or go back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you from me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune to me." So we're looking at the book of Ruth, and again, we're looking at Naomi. And we're dealing with someone who's dealing with a lot of tragedy, who literally has now experienced a lot of loss. And how can that not weigh down on someone? I think in our culture, in our time where we are right now with respect to all that's going on, there are people that are experiencing loss of various levels. Here's a few of them. First of all, sickness and death. One of my good friends, who's a pastor in Georgia, buried one of his church members because of COVID-19. And their spouse is in the hospital in ICU with COVID-19. So you do have people that are hurt because of this disease and this virus. But then you have also the economic aspect of it. People are losing their jobs. People are losing income. People are losing their retirement, their future. And everything just seems, the buzzword nowadays has been uncertain. Everything's just so uncertain right now. And it's one thing to have a situation where it looks really bad. It's another thing to have a situation where we can't even see where hope is. We can't even see a light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. And that's where we see Naomi here. She's lost her husband. She lost the person she pledged her life to and loved dearly. She lost that one. But then she lost her son. And then she lost another son. And in the natural order of things, you're not supposed to bury your children. They're supposed to bury you. I've had the displeasure of having to conduct the funerals for 2 teenagers in my career. And the sticking point for me is the look on the moms' faces and the turmoil that I could just visually see in their life, to know that they're going to a funeral service and that funeral service is for their child. Your mamas love you, by the way. They love you so very much. And they would gladly, in those situations, take your place with a smile on their face. Moms love run deep. She didn't just bury one son, she buried 2. And now she's going back home literally empty-handed. So first question, Naomi had everything, and from her perspective, she lost it all. When we are in situations where we feel like we've lost it all, or we feel in situations that we are overwhelmed and we're in real deep, maybe even too deep, how do we act in those situations? How would we react in a situation where we feel like we lost it all? We lost our family, we feel like we've lost our future, all the plans just went up in flames. What do we think?
Well, in that case, you don't really have anything to look forward to in life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's gone, so you don't feel a need to move on or something.
A feeling not move on. What about you though? Would that be where you would be?
If I lost all my family, probably yeah.
Is it something anyone else has thought about?
Yeah.
In a situation like that, Sam, what would you do?
I would like to say, I would get everything I had left together and make plans for my life. Thought about it a lot. Moved to Alaska, be an Alaskan bushman.
You'd fit in.
Yeah.
You would fit in.
But in all actuality, I'd probably just pull a Job, break down, sit there in the dirt, and just mope all day.
Just Waller.
Yeah.
Waller.
I've never. Okay, so true story. The first funeral that I ever went to was Ron's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that I'd whenever I think of people passing away or dying or something, I'm I'm not gonna cry. And then when it happens, I just bawl. I'm pretty sure I cried for a week and a half when Ron died, and he's not even a part of my family.
Yeah.
But he just was such a big impact in my life, and I was just
yeah.
I was broke down and just died.
Steven, what about you?
Well, playing off Mackenzie, I was the same way when Robert died.
Okay.
I know Cindy, Billy well, very sweet woman.
Yes.
Robert was an incredibly sweet man.
He was awesome. I loved him. Yeah. He ran security here at the church. He was great.
Yeah. Our old security guard.
Robert Broom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just really nice. Always was happy to see me and happy to see everyone, happy to be here. And just really crushing. Like Mackenzie said, not part of my life, but you can still kind of feel that way because, well, not part of my family because he is a part of your life. You see him.
Yeah. Part of the church family.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I was never a Boy Scout, but I always had that like be prepared mentality that the Boy Scouts instill. And for me, after my first child was born, I had in my mind a contingency plan. What would happen if I lost my wife and my child? And my answer was I would probably do a hard restart. I'd probably sell most, if not all, the things I have. I would probably move away, and I'd probably just restart life as fresh can be. Which Naomi was based on the context, was basically attempting to do that. Like she had a 10-year life in Moab, and now everything she had is gone. I'll go back to where I came from, and basically it wasn't necessarily to restart life. If you look at the context, she's basically wanting to give up on life. And for those that don't know, Naomi, the word Naomi means pleasant. But then she tells people, when people are recognizing, hey, that's Naomi. She's like, stop calling me Naomi, call me Mara. Mara, the Hebrew word for Mara means bitter. Call me bitter. For the Lord has afflicted me. Not situations afflicted me, God has afflicted me. She was in a position where she didn't think that bad things happen and, they just happen and there's evil in the world. No, God pretty much just smacked me across the face and I'm obliterated now. When people lose something great, and they do something destructive, or they declare things that are destructive, or they turn destructive, why do you think they do what they do? If someone has a great loss, and they turn to a destructive outlet, why do you think that is?
It's their way of coping.
A coping mechanism?
To distract them from reality and what has actually happened.
Yeah. I've heard this often from people who deal with alcohol abuse and alcoholism. For many people, there's a core issue that's yet to be resolved. And I can literally drink my problem away because if I'm drunk, I'm not thinking about it. I don't have to focus about it. And it serves as a quick fix. The problem is the drunkenness and the hangover, the subsequent they don't last forever. And the problem I was trying to forget still remains. So we self-medicate sometimes. And again, sometimes it's alcohol. Sometimes it is substance abuse. Sometimes it is pornography. Sometimes it is food. Sometimes people just overeat. And I think at the end of the day, if we want to be real here, I think it's because we want control. We want some kind of semblance of control. My life is out of control, but if I can control something, that makes it okay. I can control what I put into my body. I can control what I do with my time. I can control what I do with my schedule. And to heck with the consequences if it's bad, I won't control. Now, again, she said she called herself Mara. Mara means bitter. So my question to you guys is this. What is bitterness? What is bitterness? When we talk about someone who's bitter, when we talk about food that's bitter, when we talk about this concept of bitterness, what does it look like? What does it taste like? Have we been in a point where we felt we've been bitter at one point or another?
Well, I'm very competitive, so
Okay.
I get bitter a lot, especially when I'm losing in things.
What does that look like when someone's bitter?
Typically get upset, angry.
Okay.
Just unpleasant to be around.
Okay.
Take your ball and go home.
Take your ball and go home?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If I'm losing, no one gets to play.
Okay. What else? What else does bitterness look like? Or bitterness manifest? How does it look like for you guys? Bella, what about you? If I came to you and said that person over there is really bitter, how would you define that?
I don't know.
They're like a grapefruit.
Unpleasant.
They're like a grape. I'm sorry for people out there that like grapefruit. Why? Just why? Why?
If you put enough sugar on it, I'm sure it loses the taste.
If you put enough sugar on anything, it's going to taste better.
If you put enough sugar on it, it's called an orange, and you should just eat an orange.
Hey, does that work for bitter people? You just start covering them in sugar?
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, according to Mary Poppins. What about you, Mackenzie? Bitterness and being bitter. What do you know about this? What do you got?
What do you know about being bitter, Kinsey?
What do you know about being bitter, Mackenzie?
Here. So yesterday, I was with Liam and Bella, and we were hanging out, and then Bella did something. I forgot what she did. That's how unreasonable it was.
Okay.
And then they left Liam's house on Liam's golf cart and just left me stranded at Liam's.
Mm-hmm.
So then I wasn't really stranded. I had my golf cart. So then I got on my golf cart and then I went to go look for them and I couldn't find them. So then I just ended up going home, and on the way home I saw them, and then they just went to Liam's house and I went to my house. And then I was really mad. So I went on a walk and then Bella was like, "You're getting mad over nothing." And I was like, it may not seem like anything to you, but it was something to me, and then I just got really bitter and mad, and then they made me a sign that said I love you, and then they brought it to me. And
that's sweet.
That's sweet.
I think my experience with bitterness has been this, and that is for when I see people like who I feel are truly bitter. I think there is anger. I think there is a level of hurt. I think there's a level of being upset, but I think there's a little extra. I think it runs a little bit deeper than that. I think it's all those things plus a big dose of negativity, plus with that a sense of no hope. Like, things are bad. They're always going to be bad. Why should I even bother? Why should I even try? Why should I even think positive? I'm just going to give up. That's in my opinion, that's what real bitterness looks like. I'm going to give up. And if like someone tells you, hey, well, tomorrow's going to be a good day. It's probably going to be the worst day ever. It's probably going to be a hurricane. Why should I even bother working on this house? A hurricane's going to destroy this house anyway. It doesn't even matter. And I think that might be the best phrase that I kind of set them up. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what I do. It's going to turn out bad. It doesn't matter what I do. It's going to screw up. It doesn't matter what I do. It's always going to fail. And if you look at the context of what Naomi's saying here, again, the Lord has afflicted me. It's not just things happen. It's not just that there's evil in the world. It's not just the reality that, by the way, people do die. And we have little to no control over that. We can't prevent people from dying. Even doctors, who can sometimes prevent people from doing that, don't bat 1,000. Sometimes there's nothing you can do other than just watch them and look at their loved ones and say, shrug your shoulders and say, I'm sorry, we tried, there's nothing more we can do. And when you're in those situations, yeah, bitterness can be very real. When you lose your job, when you lose your livelihood, which, by the way, many people right now are dealing with. A psychological study was done not too long ago. Apparently, losing your job, as far as the grief aspect is concerned, is on par and sometimes greater than the grief of losing a close friend. Losing your job psychologically is up on that level. And okay, so bad things happen and we can be sad and we can grieve, but bitterness takes it to that next level of saying there's no hope, there's nothing good that can happen. I'm just going to go home and die, basically. But then you have Ruth, the main protagonist of the story. I mean, the book is named after her. And you have this declaration. You have Naomi in this situation, but you have Ruth saying, okay, where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people. Your God's going to be my God. In other words, I'm going to stick to you. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be with you through thick and thin. So, last question. What is the value of a friend through a difficult time? What is the value of a friend through a difficult time?
They can be someone you lean on, someone you can cry with, and they can help you get through whatever you're going through.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. If you go through a difficult time and you have that friend who sticks by you, even in those bitter moments when you want to give up, they still don't give up on you. What does that do to your perspective and that friendship with that friend?
It grows.
It grows. And I think that this is true with friendship. It's trial by fire, if you will. This person saw me at my worst and stuck by me. This person was with me at my lowest point and did not turn their back on me, which means a few things. First of all, this is someone I can trust. This is someone who really loves me. This is someone who really cares for me. This is someone who really wants to see me do well. And if I have someone like that in my life, if I have someone who truly cares for me, who truly values me, then even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of losing it all, you have to step back for a second and go, well, I may have, quote unquote, lost it all, but did I really lose it all? Because I still have someone who cares for me. And at this point, and Naomi admits it, I can't give you another husband. Tradition says if you lose a husband, the brother's supposed to step up and take care of the family. Well, there was no brother at this point. And she's like, I can't give you another husband. Naomi could give Ruth nothing. And she admitted as such. There's no time. There's nothing you can do. You might as well move on with your life without me. And Ruth still says, no, I'm sticking with you all the way to the end. I don't care. You mean something to me, so much so, I'm willing to basically throw my life away for you. In my eyes, you are that valuable. And what a great message that is in the time that we're dealing with. When people are dealing with loss, when people are dealing with hurt, when people are having to deal with uncertainty and hopelessness, there are people in our lives who love us, who value us, and will stand by us through thick and through thin. And this is the first part of Naomi's story. Complete hopelessness, complete brokenness, full-on bitterness. And in the midst of that, she had someone in her life who loved her and stuck with her, not just through the thick, but also through the thin. Through the darkest time, I will stand by you, and I won't give up on you. And that's where we conclude part 1. Join us next week for part 2, as we see the conclusion of Naomi's story and how it concludes in the most unexpected of ways. See you later.